Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner once again for this pre-race show of the Austrian Grand Prix at the same track we were last week in Austria, the Red Bull Ring, 1 week after the Austrian Grand Prix that was won by Max Verstappen. So lots to talk about. The teams had a week to make adjustment and study the data from the Austrian Grand Prix and try to improve and get better result for this week. I think we all remember that it was a dominant race for Max Verstappen and that Lewis Hamilton was never even close of threatening the Red Bull driver. So what can we expect this week? Let's start with Red Bull. Max Verstappen himself said that he expects a closer race this week. Now that everyone had time to settle down and collect themselves, and I think there's a chance we can get that because on Lewis Hamilton's side, Hamilton said that he's been working this week on the simulator at the Mercedes factory, something that he very rarely do, but Hamilton says that maybe, it's something that he should start doing to get an edge over Red Bull now that I think it's fair to say that Red Bull are the favorites for this championship and Mercedes have to do the catch-up. So for Lewis, it is catch-up mode, and if it means doing some simulator job that he does not enjoy so much and other tasks that, sometimes you need to just do in order to be the best for Hamilton, it will needs to be done. For the second drivers of each team, Sergio Perez will start his 200th Formula One Grand Prix this weekend. 200 races ago is when he started in Formula One, and so far this year with Red Bull for Perez, it's been ups and down. He's got a victory and a podium, but is not consistent enough to always be on the podium, and is not super close to Max Verstappen since the beginning of the season. Still able to threaten Valtteri Bottas and Hamilton when he has a good weekend, but Perez said that he's giving himself another 5 races to get really at the top of that Red Bull car. At the beginning of the season, he said that he would need 5 races to get accustomed to it, and so far he's happy with what he's done, but there's still more to do, and he believes it will take another 5 races from this point on to really get closer to Max Verstappen. As for Valtteri Bottas, nothing very new since last week. We know that he is still fighting for his place at Mercedes. Well, we say fighting, but George Russell is a likely candidate to replace him next year, and it will depend on a lot of factors. And last week he was lucky to be third on the podium. I think maybe a lap or 2 more and Sergio Perez would have overtaken him. So this week they will need to really step up their game at Mercedes. And we could see a very different outcomes because the tires also... Ooh, someone dropped the ball. There. Yeah, sorry for that, guys. Someone just dropped the ball over my head. What was I saying? Yes. We could see a very different race, yes, because the tires will be different for this week. Last week, the teams were avoiding the soft tire because it was degrading too fast. But for this Austrian Grand Prix, the soft tire from last week will be the medium of this week. So lots to look forward to, considering that, yes, we will probably have a 2-stop race for this week. The soft tire was only doing like 18 laps or something like that So if they cannot do better with that, it will be a two-stop race, which should spice up things a little bit when you consider it. So let's go now to McLaren. McLaren, good result for Lando Norris last week. Norris finishing in 5th place as usual. He's getting pretty used to it, and you know, he's happy with that, saying that he prefers to have consistent 5th place, best of the rest, than, you know, like a 4th and 12th and 3rd and 11th or things like that. He prefers to be consistently 5th than roller coasters, and it is understandable. But Daniel Ricciardo was very disappointed last week with his race. Of course, he had engine issues, which did not help, but he is still kind of a long way behind Lando Norris, which is somewhat worrying for the Constructors' Championship, because the 2 Ferrari drivers behind them are at the top of their game, and Carlos Sainz really getting a feel for the Ferrari. And after a weak French Grand Prix, Ferraris bounced back actually in the Austrian Grand Prix last week, finishing 6th and 7th, and that's despite Charles Leclerc stopping on the first lap to change his front wing. So Ferrari on a roll, and they will need both drivers in order to overcome McLaren, and so will McLaren. If they want to beat Ferrari, they need both drivers on their side. So this weekend, will it be different? Maybe. I think one of the teams that could really mingle with them is AlphaTauri, as we saw last week. Pierre Gasly was starting in 6th place, and if not for first lap incidents, he could have had a very surprising result, maybe splitting the McLaren and the Ferraris. And Yuki Tsunoda finishing in the points showed that AlphaTauri really have a good car for this track, and hopefully this weekend everything will go their way. Speaking of Yuki Tsunoda, he said he was very happy with all the tips that he's got from Sergio Perez at Red Bull. We know, the Red Bull family is all working together, and Tsunoda really working off of these little tips for the rookie. It is very important, to get everything that you can from your teammates, your co-workers, to try to improve. A team that had a very sad weekend last week was Williams. George Russell starting in 8th place for a while, running 8th, and able to actually fend off his opponent behind him and even attack the better car to some extent. Ended up with a retirement for George Russell, so no points. If not for that, there's a chance that they could be 8th in the championship right now and got their first points. This week they will try to replicate these results, but it's going to be tough. One of the features of last week's race was the absence of wind, which the Williams does not like. Williams does not like to have wind. And if there's rain, if there's wind this week, it's going to be tough for them. And considering that everyone will improve since the last race, it's gonna be tricky, but there is no doubt that Williams, under the perfect condition, can actually have a good car, as they've shown last week. So good luck to them, to George Russell and Nicolas Latifi. Alpine, Renault, Fernando Alonso coming to this race with a bit of a superstitious mind, saying that he will keep doing track walks until he does not score points, and that is because he did a track walk in Portugal, scored points. Did not do a track walk in Barcelona and Baku, did not score points. Resumed the track walks for the races after that, he scored. So, you know, maybe track walks are a good thing for Fernando. Alpine in the fight for 5th in the constructors with AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, and Alonso finishing 9th last week. That was a good result overall for that team. But the one that is struggling now is Esteban Ocon. As much as Fernando is finally getting at the top of his game and getting a real feel for his car, Esteban Ocon has dropped in the last few races outside of the points. Issues with his car, Ocon finishing no better than 14th for the Austrian Grand Prix. Not getting demoralized, saying that these things happen, there are ups and downs in Formula One, and that's just how things goes. But after signing an extension for 3 years with the team, he needs to come up with solutions. Aston Martin, I would say same for Sebastian Vettel. After some good races, had a disappointing Austrian Grand Prix, finishing only 12th, while his teammate Lance Stroll finished 8th. Vettel had a bit of fun during the week and participated to some charity work, but also needs to focus on his work with the Aston Martin brand. Can he make it into the points this week? I hope so for the team, because as I said, they are in the fight for 5th, currently held by AlphaTauri. So Aston Martin needs some good points in order to get back up to speed. They are not where they want to be after a good 2020 season. We're hoping for better, and expectations have been reviewed. Of course, they don't aim for 3rd anymore for this season, and budget it will be shifting to 2022, but still that fight for 5th is important because there is a lot of money involved. Lance Stroll having actually a pretty good season overall, all things considered, probably his best in Formula One so far when you put everything in perspective. It is the first Formula One season where he is consistently stronger than his teammate, and if Vettel gets a good feel for that car, we hope he can keep it up, because Stroll is now at his 5th season in Formula One and still needs to demonstrate that he really has that potential and this talent to be a potential world champion. Yes, he's got some podiums and even a pole position, but they were in lucky circumstances. He needs to do better overall if he hopes to get a contract with a big team, which actually could be Aston Martin next season for all we know. And let's finish with our 2 teams at the back of the grid remaining. Alfa Romeo had a very good Styrian Grand Prix, 11th for Kimi Raikkonen. Giovinazzi 15. Strategy did not play out for him, but Kimi had a very strong race and is convinced that if he had 2 extra laps, he could have made it into the points. So, Alfa Romeo, they're not far. They have 2 good drivers. They can make it work, but it is still not 100% where they want. They are that other team with Williams that, if they get everything exactly perfect, could cause some very big surprise. And we finish with Haas. Nikita Mazepin, we learned, gonna get a new chassis after the summer break, because currently both cars are actually running the 2020, last year's version of everything pretty much. And Haas managed to find a bit of budget to bring a new chassis to Nikita, which will be lighter and hopefully help him increase his pace and beat Mick Schumacher, and maybe bring the fight to the Williams, just like Mick is doing. Would not get my hopes too high, obviously, as Haas really is not focusing on this year. It's hard for everyone, and the whole focus is on next season. But there's still hope for the young Russian driver. That's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss any update about this Austrian Grand Prix. Styria was last week. And not miss anything about this whole 2021 Formula One season. Thank you for watching and see you next time.